Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Petherick. This is indeed Mixing Wednesdays, and yes, the vari-mu shootout is finally upon us. So, 6 different vari-mu compressors on a mixbus. Which one am I going to prefer? Which one are you going to prefer? Let's find out. Right, okay, so if you are new to the channel and you've not seen the previous videos, last week we started a brand new mix session. So we have a pre-mixing video, and we also did a video talking all about a master bus processor because we're doing top-down mixing. And I had a poll and I let you guys pick whether we should use a master bus processor or whether we should put the entire mix through the Acustica Audio Snow or the Acustica Audio Celestial. You guys voted in the poll, and we are going to be using a master bus processor, and it is going to be the Acustica Snow. So we now have the Acustica Snow fixed on the master bus. Now in top-down mixing, I always like to have a mix bus compressor, okay, that just glues everything together. Now I normally use like an SSL, right, in the form of the Tim P L-Bus 2. Thought I'd kind of switch it up because everybody's been asking me for a long time to do a vari-mu shootout, okay. Now for anybody who doesn't know, vari-mus are basically just kind of tube compressors, but the differences with the vari-mu is not what you'll normally find, is that mostly it's program dependent, which means that when you're changing your threshold, it actually changes the ratio, okay? So you're not kind of guaranteed, you don't have like a fixed ratio, and it's a different form of compression, okay? It's the tubes that attenuate, which means you're getting a lot of nice color and vibe. Now in terms of the plugins, we have got 6, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 different batches of shootouts. We're going to do a shootout of 3, shootout of 3, and then we'll do some final shootouts, okay? And I'll give you my opinions on which I prefer. Right, so first let's get into Plugin Doctor and let's see what these plugins are doing underneath the hood. Okay, so first off, the Acustica Audio Magenta, which is the manley vari-mu. Okay, they sampled a manley vari-mu. I've got 2 videos already showing you how close this plugin is to the real deal. I actually think I managed to get them identical both times, but again, it's subjective. Okay, so in terms of the linear frequency response, as you can see, it's quite flat. And in terms of the harmonics, it is still quite a clean unit. But the good thing is there's no aliasing. Again, this is a 48K session. There is slight aliasing, but it's so slight, well under the audible threshold, and there's basically no noise as well. So it's a very clean version, which is what we're looking for, especially when we're processing a mix bus. In my opinion, you want it to be kind of as clean as possible. You want clean harmonics just so you can get that color, but you don't really want to be putting your entire mix through lots of noise and distortion, which is then going to muddy up your mix. So, all right, so that's the Acustica Magenta, and then we're going to be comparing that against the SPL Iron. Now, in terms of the SPL Iron, I was quite shocked with this, okay? Now, it's got a low roll-off and quite a high roll-off. I was quite surprised by this. I don't know why. Obviously, it's just the sound of that unit. Now, this is where we have to be very careful with this compressor. I have read about this compressor before on gear slots, okay? Now, have a look at the harmonics, okay? Now, it looks okay just now, and then watch what happens when we start to dial in the threshold and actually start compressing. Wow. Look at all that noise and look at all that distortion. This is not a clean unit. This is not a clean plugin. That's a worry for me. And what's even more worrying is that when you oversample it to 96K, it changes slightly. It's like it's still very messy. To me, that's messy. Even at 192 kilohertz, look. It's not clean. That is not, compared to the Magenta, it's night and day almost, okay? And I genuinely think you're going to hear that in the mix. And look at the intermodulation distortion. Wow, that's a lot of intermodulation distortion. A lot. Now let's compare that just like to the vari level quickly. Look at the difference in intermodulation distortion. That's surprising because Brainworks are normally spot on with stuff like this. And then lastly, we have got the RA6 from Tim P. So again, as you can see, there's a linear frequency response. If we have a look at the harmonics, again, as you can see, you've got some nice harmonics in there. It's quite rich. And you will notice that there is a little bit more aliasing compared to the Acustica, but that's probably because there are more harmonics in there. But again, it's so low, it's practically inaudible. And it's still basically what you would class a clean unit because the aliasing is so low, it's practically inaudible. Okay, so in terms of the compression, the way that I've got these set up is a fast-ish attack, not the fastest, a fast-ish attack, a medium release. Now, all of these compressors have the option of a filter, okay? So you can filter out the lows, so you're not compressing the lows, you're kind of keeping that low end. And all three of them I've got it set to around 80 hertz, okay, to keep it consistent. And in terms of the compression, it is 1 to 2 dB max, okay, absolutely max. I don't like a lot, I like to compress quite a lot on the tracks. So a lot of people might use, say, 2 to 4 dB compression on the mix bus. I prefer 1 to 2 dB, okay. I just like a little bit of glue so it can compress a little bit more in the tracks, okay. So three of them side by side in a blind test. I will pick which one I prefer. Now remember, this is completely subjective, okay? This is just what I'm hearing. So again, I am listening for solidity, I'm listening for overall excitement, and I'm also looking for width as well. I want there to be depth in the mix, okay? But again, listen for that wideness, okay? The width is the hardest thing these plugins normally have. Low end width, okay? A little bit of excitement. Let's compare them and let's see which one I prefer.
Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil soul got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for you now. Don't you stay away.
Right, okay, so there you go. I preferred the Timpy, okay, which is probably not it's probably not a surprise to a lot of people, but it is what it is, okay. I just feel that in terms of the SPL Iron, okay, don't want to offend anybody. I just can it sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't think it's very clear. It's not got a lot of depth. I think it's probably because of the amount of distortion. It's not very clean, and I'm just not getting that much transient response. And just kind of feel it's just a little bit muddier, and it lacks a lot of width. A lot of width. Now, if you use like this extra EQ option that's got it's like an air low thing, all it does is just give you a smiley, okay? I don't want to give it a smiley. If I want to give it a smiley, I'll put in a Pultec, right? And I'm very particular about when I put a smiley on a mix bus. I just didn't like it, okay? But again, subjective. In terms of the magenta, honestly, it was quite close because I do like the magenta, but I just kind of feel like the RA6 just had that extra bit of width, and it was a little bit, again, it was depth for me. I think it's kind of a little bit muddy in the low mids. It solidifies the mix in the low end, but I just think it's lacking the width, it's lacking the space and the depth for me. And I think that's what the RA6 does give you. It gives you that width. Tim's great at kind of adding that kind of hardware width. I think this might split opinion. I think many people might like Magenta, and I think other people may like the RA6. But again, comment down below as well and let me know what you thought. Okay, so let's move to the next shootout. So in terms of our next shootout, our next three plugins are going to be the TIMP vari level, which is the star level. We are going to have a fairchild in the form of the Waves Puigchild, which is oversampled at 192k, as we're just following on this Waves oversample thing we're doing. And we also have the ddmf Magic Death Eye that I've been getting told so much about, okay? So much about. Now, in terms of the Waves, okay? Now, what you can see here is actually it's not that bad in terms of, I've seen worse plugins. I've seen worse Waves plugins in terms of aliasing. The aliasing's not too bad, okay? As we can see, again, you can take a 96 and 192, and it really does kind of still clear that up. The aliasing's really kind of inaudible, especially at 192k, and there's hardly no noise in it, which is good as well, because again, you can switch the noise on and off, which is really important for me, because I don't want noise, especially on your mixbus, okay? So that's kind of the aliasing side of it. Now, this is what's really strange, and this really is really weird to me, is it does this weird thing, is it, see the more it compresses, even at 192k, it does this really weird low boost. It's just odd. The linear frequency response is really odd, and I don't know why it does this. Honestly, I've tried it on all sample frequencies and it just keeps on doing this. I don't know if that's right. I don't think it's right, because it either, like, if you don't hit it as hard, it's got like a low end roll off, and if you hit it harder, then it's got a low boost. Really odd, really odd. But in terms of the aliasing and intermodulation distortion, it is a lot cleaner than the SPL Iron, which again really surprises me. And then in terms of the ddmf Magic Death Eye, now in terms of like being really geeky, this is really impressive. Look how clean this compressor is. This is super clean. Look at those harmonics. There is basically no alias in there. It's so inaudible, no noise as well. Very impressive. Again, linear frequency response is pretty flat as well, which is good. Now, having seen how clean this is, I've got high hopes for this, okay? And then if we move on to the TIMP vari level, which is the star level, as we can see, there is a lot of harmonics in there. It's a very rich compressor. And again, the linear frequency response, you've got a little bit of a boost in the lows, but again, it's kind of, again, 10-20 hertz. You can hardly hear it. So it's very flat, which is what I like. Again, there is a little bit of aliasing, but again, it's under the audible threshold. So again, it's low. That's what you want. You want your aliasing to be low enough so you're not going to hear it. And it's very clean. Look at, there's hardly any noise. Basically no noise, okay? Now, in terms of the Magic Death Eye, there is a filter option. Now, the annoying thing is, it's either no low end filter or it's 200 hertz. I tried it at 200 hertz and it was just too much bass. You're letting too much low end in, and it's just too much, and it stands out way too much, and it sounds too boomy. So I do not have that filter option in. What I do have is the 20, you've got like little low cuts. I've got the low cut in at 20 just to kind of tighten up that low end, which is similar to the rest of them. And I have not used the EQs as well, because again, same as the SPL Iron, I don't want to add any lows or highs, right? I just want it to compress. I just want it to compress and add that glue in. All right, so again, exact same as before, same settings as close as possible. 1 to 2 dB gain reduction, okay? Blind test, let's find out which one I prefer. And again, let me know in the comments down below which one you prefer as well.
Won't you pass them by? Hey, baby, no evil soul God's will hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you say no way. Won't you pass them by? Hey, baby, no evil soul God's will hide.
Right, okay, so as I expected, I was very, very, very impressed by the Magic Death Eye. That's very, very nice. There isn't many algo plugins, okay, that have that stereo width. That has that width, that kind of analog width, that has it. Very, very nice. It takes the entire mix and kind of makes it a little bit more like a record. It's got nice width. It really solidifies everything, brings everything together really well. I was very, very impressed. The waves, I actually think the waves is better than the SPL, but it's the low end. It's just, it doesn't have any low end, probably because you can't filter anything out. But again, you can't use the filter sidechain in the ddmf either. So I don't know what's going on with the Puigchild, and that's oversampled at 192. It's just this low end. It just completely lacks in the low end. It's actually half decent in the mids and the highs, and it's got a little bit of width in there, but it completely lacks in the lows. So it's very easy for me to pick out. Now for me, the Timp just has it. It has that width and it has those pockets. It's very, very smooth in its compression. And you guys know how much I rate Tim's compressors, which to me tells me how good this ddmf Magic Death Eye is. Very, very impressed. I prefer the lows of the vari level. Again, it's like about the high pass filters at about like 80 hertz. I just prefer the lows. Again, he manages to keep it really, really tight. I like the color. I like the width. I just feel that it's got a lot of depth in this plugin. So does the Magic Death Eye. It's just that to me, the vari level is just the step up. It's just taking the Magic Death Eye just a step up. The Magic Death Eye is actually quite clean, I think, which I quite like. And I just feel like the vari level is just has a little bit more color, a little bit more excitement. But very, very, very impressed, okay? And very, very subjective as well. I actually think a lot of you guys might actually prefer the Magic Death Eye here. I actually genuinely do. But we're not done yet, okay? I'll do two. I want to do two more tests, okay? I want to do a test with the Magic Death Eye versus the Dry versus the Acustica Magenta, okay? Because I did really like the Acustica Magenta, and I basically just wanted to see the ones that came second, okay? I just want to try them out versus the Dry and actually see which one I prefer. Am I going to prefer the Magic Death Eye versus the Acustica Magenta? Convolution versus algorithmic plugin. Which one am I going to prefer? Let's do it.
Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you pass me by? Hey, baby, no evil so got to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away.
Right, okay, so that was quite easy for me then. Again, very, very subjective. I could tell that, now to me, the most important thing with mixbus compression is always do it against the Dry. That's why I added the Dry in, because I need to be able to tell which one's the dry. If I can't tell which one the dry is, then there's no point doing the mixbus compression because it's too subtle. I can pick out the dry easy. I'm like, happy days. Okay, I can move on. In terms of the Magenta, again, it's that kind of low-mid build-up. I just don't feel like it's got that width as much. It's got good excitement and it's it's got a nice solidified kind of foundation to it in the lows. But I just feel that the Magic Death Eye paints a better picture. It's got better width, more pockets. Again, I like the word pockets. It just has a little bit more depth for me. And overall, I think it sounds better. I think it paints a clearer picture for me, okay? But again, my opinion, again, comments down below, okay? Now, I want to do one final test, okay? Just because I really do like the Magic Death Eye, okay? Now, I'm going to do another blind test, one final blind test. What I'm going to do is I am going to do the RA6, I'm going to have the vari level and the Magic Death Eye. And that's what we'll finish the video on, okay? So, if you've liked this video, then guys, please like this video. Again, it helps the channel massively. And if you want to keep up with this mix session and this journey that we're following just now by shooting out plugins, then again, think about subscribing. And if you also want more input into the actual plugins that we do for the shootouts, then consider becoming a Mixing Wednesday member down below as well. So guys, as always, thank you very much for your time. And remember, before you leave, to go to the community section and vote in the poll so I know which vari-mu compressor we will be using on our mix bus as we continue through this mixing session. Okay, thank you very much guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week on Mixing Wednesdays.